In this 4-part series, I'm going to share with you the worst things that you can do if you work in the gig economy. And in this video, we're tackling rideshare. I'm going to tell you 4 things to please not do if you're driving for companies like Uber and Lyft. Number 1, do not ignore your passengers' verbal and nonverbal cues. Well, half of rideshare is basically customer service, and if you completely ignore the verbal and the nonverbal cues that your passenger is giving you, well, you're basically setting yourself up for a bad experience, a bad ride for the passenger, and no tip. One example is if you completely ignore the cues that your passenger really doesn't want to talk during their ride. If they're not saying much, if they're not adding to the conversation that you're starting with them, hey, you can ignore that, but in my opinion, it's best to let them enjoy a quiet ride. For the physical cues, if they're reading a magazine, a newspaper, if they're on their phone talking to a friend, if they're looking out the window intently, obviously not too interested in conversation with you, hey, that could be a physical cue. The worst thing that you can do on rideshare, number 2, is accepting every single ride request. If you're just accepting every single ride request, really with no strategy, you should really be taking into consideration how far the request is from you as a driver, what incentives, if any, either platform, Uber and Lyft, are having during that day or that week, and if there's any kind of upfront, surge, or prime time as well. Certainly these apps have changed over the years, but you want to drive with some changing strategy. If you're accepting every single ride, there's really no strategy behind that. You're just accepting every single ride. You're not really concerned about expenses. You're not really concerned about earnings incentives as well. Number 3, the worst thing that you can do when driving rideshare is driving an exceptionally low efficiency vehicle. If you're driving a big, heavy vehicle, a big truck, Hummer, etc., and it's getting 10, 12, 14 miles per gallon, consider your expenses and what you're actually taking home for profit. Now, if you're driving on a premium platform like Uber Black or Lyft Lux, then you are getting paid more per mile, which can offset some of those costs. And number 4, one of the worst things that you can do if you're driving on a rideshare platform is driving without a dash cam. Your vehicle is your business. It's the gateway to these ride-sharing platforms. You have passengers, you have traffic, you have pedestrians, you have a lot of hazards on the road. Protect your business, yourself, and your passengers. Absolutely invest in a dash cam. I'll leave a few of my recommendations linked down below in the description, including those that we featured here on the channel. Your driver Mike here. I do appreciate you watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to join the Your Driver team, and I will see you in the next one.